What's going on, everybody? My name is Ace, and welcome to Ace Plays. Today we're back in Rangeview for another episode of our City Skylines series. We're on episode 7 now. As always, the city and the series is flying by. But I think the last episode was kind of a turning point. Last time we really kind of laid the foundation for some of our neighborhoods. This neighborhood up here, Sunset Heights, I think it's called. I kind of forget. I actually thought of a cooler name that I thought was kind of more poignant, but namely Seaside Heights, because obviously we're by the sea and it's a height. So I kind of want to change it to that just for now. Even though I made the last episode, I named the last episode after the what's it called? After this neighborhood, but in the end of the day, we won't go back and change it. It's fine. We'll just change it moving forward from here. So, yeah, there was a couple concerns from last episode that I wanted to address to kind of get out of the way. That I think the longer they're left, the more of a problem they'll create. So the thing that I want to do is make a roundabout at either two ends of this intersection. The reason being, it's just based on where these are. They're in very important junctions. As you can see, there's just always going to be traffic issues. So I think specifically engineering it so that we are minimizing traffic, although it takes up more space, is going to be a better long-term solution. And again, doing it now is going to give us the best. Oops, 1 second. Okay, I was going to say I suspected that would happen, but I knew it would actually resolve itself, so it's fine. The reason being, it's better to always do it now when there's less traffic. Again, I know I speak about the mod, the density mod a lot, but one of the interesting factors of that is how traffic flows, because when you have the different densities, excuse me, and the different distribution of population, then the more highly concentrated they are, the more dense that is, and the more divergent your traffic patterns are going to be than you expect. So because of that, I want to get ahead of everything before this the surge in population that we're going to see in these next couple episodes. So we're going to get ahead of that by placing nice solid roundabouts at our most important intersections between communities, so that we can ease the cross community travel. And with that being said, these two are built. Now, that was relatively painless, and I think it was the right idea just to get that out of the way as soon as possible. With that being said, that kind of makes this a terrible location for the police station. So I think potentially, we have enough money and income from this area to actually give it a dedicated police station, and actually give a dedicated police station to this area as well. Actually, you know what? We'll wait till the police headquarters. We're only a couple people away from that, and once we get that, we'll actually place the police headquarters over here, and that will give us a good distribution of police access. So with that being said, we're going to continue our development. My plan is actually to continue to move east and connect up Seaside Heights with Elm Heights. I don't know why it's called Heights, but with this lower neighborhood here, and I also think it's worthwhile to expand this just so that the same policies apply and all that. Okay, and I know we did begin to develop here. We do have some outstanding. We don't have outstanding residential zoning, so I'm going to continue with that. We don't really need any commercial on this outer road, so I'm just gonna I left it open originally, as you can see, for the potential for commercial, but I don't think that's going to be a long-term likely long-term, so we're going to get rid of that. This is an interesting thing. I've been toying with the idea of removing this. I think it is an interesting feature, just because it gives more access. Now, obviously the obvious change would be just make it a full interchange, so that there's actual access on either side, which maybe we'll do today. There's going to be a need to, because we have so much traffic coming into one highway access point. So we're going to want to address that coming here shortly. And I've never seen this before, so this is apparently an issue, and I see exactly why that is. So as of now, given how the lanes are done, the people in the leftmost lanes are not able to turn right. So if we enable everyone to turn right, we'll actually start to see a limited, a lower, what's the word, congestion in this area. There's also, okay, so I thought maybe that there would be a stop sign or something as well, but it appears that it just has to do with this ability to turn right. And one other thing is that theoretically speaking, they shouldn't be stopping at all. So I'm kind of confused as to why that's even happening. As you can see, they kind of get there and they stop, right? And that's really what's backing everything up. So I think what we'll do really quick is try to investigate why that might be happening. I'm going to pause. I don't know if it's a... No, I don't think it is. I think it's this. Okay. No, it's a 3-laner. I forgot about that. Okay. Which does make sense because we're going... well, no, it should be 4 actually. Here's what we'll do. Okay, I'm gonna actually redo the lane math, but it'll be very quick. So. And you'll see why I'm doing what I'm doing here. Ah, I picked the wrong road. So just to quickly go over why I did that. As you can see, this intersection is from is for 1 lane and a 2 lane merging into a 3 lane. So we want those lanes to actually add up properly. As you can see, there was traffic issues because they didn't add up properly, and you had weird merging behavior. Now, if we designate exactly what the behavior we want to see at these intersections, we should not have any issue with traffic flow, unless, of course, it was just an overfilled road. But in this case, we're actually designating that everybody already has a lane, and that in fact they should not have anything stopping them. But again, we're still seeing this weird behavior where they are stopping. Oh, it's a crosswalk. That's why. Okay. I think that's why. I don't know exactly. So potentially, you know, I realize now that there's no 3-lane highway. So the idea would be to, unless maybe there was actually no, okay. Yeah, so this is actually odd behavior. I want to stress that. I've never seen this before. So they move in there quickly. So maybe it is an issue of the type of road. So maybe we'll go to a 2-way highway. Do that for this as well. So that there is no, you know, question of if there's a... There you go. So now you can see the traffic's actually flowing the way it should have been. And that seemed to be due to the usage of residential roads, which built in a crosswalk. Now this might end up being an issue, of course, because like we said, we have 3 going into 1. I think what I'll do long term is find a 3-lane highway asset that I'll just plop in there next episode potentially. I'll make that a priority, so I won't forget. So I do want to bring this main road out more. I think maybe maybe pull it in a bit more. Yeah, just a bit more, because we do obviously we are going to want to straighten this out at some point. The question is, how much do we want to do to make it be the way we want it? I think, you know, looking back at it, I probably did it incorrectly for how compared to how I should have done it, but that's okay. I think we can. Yeah, I think we can fix it. I think we'll do it by bringing it in line and then continuing the grid. So my concern was it wasn't straight the way it was previously. But if we if we can. Oh, okay, awesome. 4,600, so we'll get a bunch of stuff done actually. This is perfect. Yeah, tons of stuff. So, oh, this is so yeah. I actually love using the 2-lane road with trees for my residential ones. That's my favorite road. Just want to build that out there. You'll see what I'm doing. Build a roundabout here, relatively small one compared to the previous one. Connect up the bus and taxi line, bus and taxi road. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Now this is something that I'm still not 100% on. I think this may or may not be a good idea. The reason being, we might actually see that adding this roundabout is just taking away, if there's no usage from the other side, the left side, that's actually the westbound side, I should say, or the eastbound side, then we're going to see slowing of this southbound traffic for no reason, because the traffic is actually getting put into a roundabout that's seeing no usage from the other side. So it's quite likely that we'll end up removing this roundabout and just making it, well, we'll see. I don't know. I can't say that it's likely, but it's definitely possible. So we'll keep that in mind moving forward. So we have a lot of money, so I'm just gonna go for it for now. Might as well, because I do hope to see quite a bit of development in this area for this episode. Like I said, my goal for this episode is tons and tons of development. So I think that's what we'll see. Yeah, for the cost that they're definitely worth it. They add a lot of very nice aesthetic, in my opinion. I always tend to use the grass and the tree assets. They're just nicer, in my opinion. I didn't even realize that it was actually slanted that way as well. So I think we'll take this road move it and bring it down here. Potentially just slope it instead, because obviously it's gonna forcing it down is gonna cause like weird behavior. So sloping might be a bit smarter. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, this will be an interesting area. We'll see. This might come back to bite us, so we'll see. So I'm gonna do the similar cul-de-sac behavior we've seen to limit the amount of impact on these intersections. I see that that's a little bit off, so I'm gonna move it. Oops. Looks about right. No, it looks a little bit to the left. There we go. The question is if we need that. I'm not sure that I want them to be that narrow. But the thing is that the other option is too wide. So I'm not, it's difficult to decide between too wide or too narrow. So given to the proximity to the other parks, it does beg the question of why not make the blocks a little larger and add parks instead. Maybe potentially making this whole block a park might be a good option. We'll have to see. We have a lot of parks. I know that a lot of people probably watching this are thinking, wow, this is a lot of parks, but in all honesty, the parks, like I said, the parks are such a benefit. I rarely regret doing so many, and I definitely think if you're a player that tends to, shies away from adding more parks, I would say you should definitely do more than less. So more rather than less, I should say. That's weird. I'd rather not have that be what it is. Oh, that's the road. No, that's the road too. There we go. So yeah, definitely questioning what to do with these blocks. It's interesting predicament we find ourselves in. Potentially we can go the route of Washington Park on that side and do a similar thing. Why not? I actually really liked how that turned out, so I think maybe we should do the same thing. I know we'll have, we have a lot of, like I said, that building, work, and live in communities. We have a lot of people living here, so it may do wonders to have a little bit of a commercial area here that these citizens can use in this area. So this, small park main gate. Actually, let's do. We might as well make it a bigger one. This is kind of like a. I think the reason why I wanted to do the big one is because I didn't like the off center, but I can always move it. I keep forgetting about that. That move it allows us to do the things we couldn't before. So we'll just make that center with that. That's exactly what I wanted. So I think we'll get an entrance on each side. Again, trying to avoid the zoning if at all possible, so that we can maximize the usable space that we get. And I know I've doing these curves is kind of limited my ability to use space properly, but it does it's very visually appealing, so why not? And we're gonna go away from the previous park, and we're not going to use bike paths just because I would like this to be a pedestrian focused park. Yeah, we definitely don't need all those curves for sure. There we go. Looks better. Perfect. So yeah, just building a place that people can kind of congregate in this area. Maybe one thing I'm thinking is maybe putting a basketball what is it called, court basketball court, again, just kind of increasing the accessibility and the quality of the area with that. And again, these areas are so cheap, right? So like $96 per week, or whatever it is, 96 units a week, for increasing your land values by a whole lot. So it's really not a huge price to pay for that, in my opinion. Restrooms. That was a cafe. Awesome. Restrooms here. So again, this is the idea for this is to be a shopping plaza with a central area for people to congregate, and it will really increase the usage of the commercial area by doing this. Make it much more of an attractive place to go, because people can go for many different things, not just not just commercial, and that will end up translating to sales for the commercial properties here. So definitely a positive for everyone. Gonna do a little bit of asset placing just for some interesting stuff. Oh, see, I didn't know whether or not we'd see a one square commercial getting put there. So I will put this stuff on the other side. These are just assets that Sims don't interact with, but still, nonetheless, to give your park a little character. Why not? So this is like kind of a model that I'm pioneering a little bit, so to say. Just kind of experimenting with this model of having the commercial properties with a park around it. I'm gonna place some extra tables here because this is indeed the cafe, so likely we'd have quite a bit of seating around it. And I think I hesitate to zone this because often commercial gets ahead of itself, and even if there's no demand or no people to staff the jobs they build, but that's their problem. So we'll do it. Why not? And obviously, like as the commercial increases, we'll get more residential demand. As the residential demand increases, this neighborhood will fill out, and then naturally there will be more and more jobs to supply this area. So I think it's something that'll increase rather quickly. Yeah, so it looks great. With, like I said, my previous commitment to this area is putting a police headquarters in this area. So I think I'll do that. Whether or not we want it on the main road is an important question. Obviously, this is a larger, but it's not like a police station, that you would see maybe in this residential area. It's kind of a big building, so I hesitate putting it on these tangential roads. So I think let me just check the grade. Okay. I think the best bet is going to be putting it on this road, and I think here might be a good spot. And we'll see. Like if it doesn't work out, it might not be a good because of the roundabout. It probably won't be good, but I like to experiment. I mean, I don't feel like there's anything to lose with trying it, so we'll go ahead and try it. And we definitely need, I know we talked about this previously, we definitely need obviously like a huge facelift on our transit, because as we grow, we haven't really considered improving transit access, so we're definitely going to need that as everything grows out like this. Something that's rather striking, we have commercial demand, and yet this isn't built, but also we have seen zero lack of employees, so that's a great thing to see. Oh, we have the hospital. That's perfect. So maybe this can be kind of a row of buildings. Actually, no, I don't think so. I think what I'll do is, because we have this green space here, likely, I think naturally this area will actually become kind of the city center. It will become the largest area because there is just more space than there was over here. And I think we'll achieve that by adding interchanges for the highway wherever we can. But I think that this will become a larger and larger area for the city, and I think I'm gonna build with that in mind. So actually, I'll wait for the hotel, the hospital. I almost said hotel, and I'm gonna start building this area with this growth in mind. So I'm gonna actually build larger roads here, and I think we're not quite at high density. I think we're at 7,000. Yeah, so we're not quite there yet, but I think we're gonna build this in mind with high density in mind from the get-go. So that's kind of my thought process for this area. And with that, we can afford to have the bigger blocks. That's quite all right because it is a larger road. So I think I'm also gonna upgrade. Can I upgrade to this type? Why is that? Is it already the 6 lane? That's the question. Oh, okay, it is. Okay, great. This one is not. So I think we'll have to upgrade that as well. again, just kind of thinking ahead with what our city will look like very shortly. It will grow substantially, so shouldn't be any issues with the bus lines, I will say that, because these aren't one way, so shouldn't impact much. Yeah, I don't know what the issue is. Looks fine to me. That's weird. Okay, just add this back. Ooh. Yeah, that was weird. Just had to re-add those. Sometimes weird stuff like that happens when you're building. Just keep it in mind and fix it. Usually reapplying the routes works pretty well. Oh, this is interesting. I hadn't seen this prior. Okay. Our industrial demand is still very, very low, so that's good. Not too much to say there. So the question is whether or not we want to increase the capacity of this road. And I think we do. The way to achieve that best, however, is the question. I think maybe we can do so by placing a roundabout here, although it's not quite as far down as I would like. That would be fine. So just creating a barrier so that when we do have this kind of higher capacity area, we're not still limited by the size of the previous roads. And I am getting a bit ahead of myself here, so I don't want to spend too much money or time developing this area without the... Again, because all this, you have to think about the fact that all of these areas are actually going to be, all these roads are going to be taking up quite a bit of money for upkeep. So we don't want to spend too much money building out this area without the tax revenue to support the infrastructure. Something I think about quite a bit. And I think what we'll do with these side streets as things grow in this area is we'll start to make them one ways so that they don't actually, obviously because of one lane or two-way road is going to really hit capacity with high density very, very quickly. So if we make it one way, we'll get a bit more capacity out of them and or upgrade them as things move forward. So we'll see some decent growth in this area, I think, for sure. Potentially could see some, I think this could also be an office district. I could definitely see some office usage, so I'm gonna kind of earmark those as low density commercial, but will one day be office space. And yeah, that's the same 7,000. So I'm hoping, I gotta check how much time is left in the recording, but I hope that we can get at least closer to that. I definitely, I know the episodes are long and the growth seems to be probably slower than some of you might expect. I don't want to, I want to definitely keep up the pace and continue to grow the city at a respectable rate. Yeah, the last thing I want is to kind of have day in day out the same population size. So the hospital, that's something we were talking about. So I think on this big block we'll place the hospital. I like to kind of place these large buildings in an area that they can have large buildings around, so they don't look like this. So like I said, the plan will be to have high density residential here. So it will surround you will see it will be a relevant, surroundings for the hospital. Yeah, and this block is quite low. I think what we might have to end up extending this higher density area out left, because this block is just so large. It's a lot of unused space, so it's not really, I don't think it's wise to do that. And I think maybe now is the time to start building this aspirational area that I wanted to do, which I think will be really cool to have. And like I said in the other episodes, the idea of this area is to be a tourist, kind of like not necessarily destination, but because obviously, tourist revenue throughout the city would be great, but I think kind of as the hub of the tourist economy that we will one day have should be here. So I do kind of want to, like I said, earmark this stuff. Not put too much development, residential development into it. Kind of focus on the potential of future tourist. What's the word? Tourist applications. So. And I want to continue that, so I need to figure out a way to eloquently connect that up. Potentially, it is going to be tourists, so theoretically we can have a light intersection here. I'm trying to figure out how to maintain the contour while also fitting with this intersection at a 90 degree. So yeah, one thing we can do, even though this is earmarked for tourism and leisure, we can zone this interior area and also add some commercial. Not yet. Obviously, I did probably time this poorly. We don't need this quite yet. But I also think, like, when I look at stuff like this, I like to think about what in reality it would be, right? So in reality, if we had, tourism and leisure in this area, we'd likely see, a lot of residential here, maybe, high value residential, but also, Airbnbs, things of that nature, where people are kind of, home sharing. Obviously, if you have this area as a tourist spot, there will be people taking advantage of that. So I'd like to think that there's more going on here. It's kind of like an interesting spot to have homes and things of that nature. So. And I want to see tourism leisure. Oh wait, so we did. Oh wait, we unlocked. Okay, so you know what? Erase everything I said. So what we're gonna do is look to build out this tourism and leisure area, and I think that that'll do wonders, because as we grow, of course, we're gonna have the desire to connect our city out to the world, and because of that, we're gonna want access to tourism and leisure for sure. So we're gonna get commercial specialization. So we're gonna get a tourism specialization in this area. Oop. Commercial. Why can't I? I'm confused. So maybe I have to do this. Yeah, the districts sometimes get all weird, but could try and maintain it. Kind of, get a little bit of a pre-designation of this whole area for the tourism spot. And then I think we can click it. There you go. Okay, perfect. So we have tourism specialization here, and I think we're gonna go ahead and continue that. So that being said, we're gonna give some interesting assets on this in this area here, and I think what we can do is potentially get a service road, not service road, but another road that branches off of here and intersects with, let's see if that's enough. So it is perfect. And kind of what's the word? Transits the coastline here. Yeah, you see, I did expect that to be an issue, but yeah, well, it shouldn't really be an issue. It's not that close, so that would be weird, yeah. And I know, like, at this stage of the city, it's unusual that you'd have like a lot of tourism demand. So, how necessary is it really? The answer is not much, not very useful. But I think at the same time, it does provide some interesting features to the community as you grow it, and that's one thing I like to keep in mind. Like, again, although it's not going to be super utilized, it will be as we grow, and it creates a really interesting dynamic to the community as you grow it if you have these things in place. So this curve of this road is obviously not exactly what we want it to be, so it is odd because we obviously have to. It is weird because this needs to be in the water, but at the same time, gotta figure out how to do this right. What I'm looking for is to create a branch off that kind of gives service to all of the water services that we're gonna have here, and that they'll be all along this road. So and maybe we'll make this a roundabout at some point, I don't know. Ooh, I did not mean to do that. Oops. So we are, in my estimation, we're gonna need access. We're gonna need residential here anyway, just to get power line access and all that. So in the end of the day, we're not gonna plop that many leisure things here anyway. I would be interested in seeing, like, how can we get realistic beach activity, right? Like, how can we? I'm gonna put a quay in on this side just to minimize any water issues. Actually, that might be the smartest thing to do in general. Road Anarchy is off. Yeah, so I actually think that looking for now, that might be the best situation. Might be, I don't know if these assets can be placed along a quay, but if they can, that would be probably our best bet. Oh yeah, it can. So that's actually perfect. Yeah, so we're gonna build the quay out on this side, and then I think what I'll do is place invisible pedestrian path assets that connect the road up, and potentially, as when I get that asset for the boardwalk, just the boardwalk asset as well. See, I don't think that's actually gonna be an issue because we do have the quay, so the quay should keep back any and all water. As you can see, we have kind of beachy vibe here with all these palm trees, and it's gonna be a really cool area for sure. Oh, I didn't even realize that this was happening. Oh, we're out. Yeah, that's a problem. So we probably lost. I was gonna say we probably lost quite a bit of population, and/or land value in this area with all the destroyed. But I should have probably paid attention to that. It's unfortunate. These will likely be re-inhabited very quickly. That's why the residential demand shot up. I didn't even realize that it shot up because of that. Probably should have noticed that sooner. But I saw that shoot up and I thought, oh, we're just attracting a lot of people quickly. That's not really the case. And something I also didn't properly plan for is that, given the tremendous increase in size we've got recently, we've also obviously grown for our need for services as well. So we're going to need to add some more garbage processing to cope with this added amount of people. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and add those invisible pedestrian paths. A little confused. So, oh, I didn't have Anarchy up on. Okay. So that's a good, nice connection from here to. Oops. You know what? I think that's not right. Maybe I should just do regular paths because I think that they would be visible. Oh wait, they connect anyway. Yeah, because I'm getting some weird, like, it's not letting me pull it out that way. I wonder if that's just a feature of this intersection here. I have an idea. Hold up. So yeah, it is already connected, but obviously we still want to be able to support pedestrian traffic here, so we'll add it. Yeah, here I think this will work better. For some reason it's still not working. Because I'm not sure if the question I'm trying to answer for myself is whether or not people can Sims can walk on the quay. I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, if they can, we want that for sure. Yeah, it's super weird. Ooh, maybe we can move it though. Hold on, I'm gonna try that again. Maybe. That's peculiar. So the idea is just to create kind of like a realistic looking connection between the area and these buildings that are going to be on the side here. See, that comes up, but I don't see water. Normally, yeah, when there is flooding, you will see water, so I'm not overly concerned about that without any real signs of water leaking over. Although I did say I don't want to do too much building on the sand, if at all possible. Yeah, it keeps saying that there's water, but there isn't, so just don't want to concern myself with that. Okay, so put some fishing tours here. Potentially a marina as well, which is actually going to be, nice leisure access for our community. This is saying it doesn't have enough access to it's not close enough to the road. And I don't think that that's true, but maybe I can bring this in a little bit. get ever so close. Oh yeah, ever so slightly closer. Yep, perfect. I'm gonna continue building these paths out. Yeah, it's super weird. Like the paths are acting very strange. I don't know why. Yeah, it's super strange. So I'm just gonna try and hack my way through this. Obviously, now looking back at it, it is kind of weird to have those be just regular. Like you'd rather have it be invisible because people are, you know, the idea that people are gonna have a paved path on the beach is kind of strange. So it's kind of nicer to have a little bit of an invisible path. But obviously with Move It, it was easier to do to move it around and stuff when I had the visible path. Although, to be fair, oh, that looks super weird. To be fair, bring that down a bit. You don't have to actually deal with the odd visual effect of the road if you just build it in. So that is nice. If you build it invisible, I should say. It's kind of weird to see them driving on the sand, but oh well. I think maybe one more idea is a restaurant pier for these people in this neighborhood. Give them kind of an interesting beach thing to do. I think what we'll do potentially is actually remove the quay and leave the quay to be where the beach activities are. And if we have any flooding issues, I think that the better solution will be to just pull in this road a bit rather than kind of trying to form the landscape to our requirements, which is just not really like how I don't really enjoy doing things like that. So I think we'll avoid that if we can. Yeah, great. So this is looking awesome. Got a lot of new activities to be done here. So I think I just heard a sound, but didn't see anything pop up. I heard like a UI sound, but didn't see anything. So it's interesting. I'm going to add some what's it called? Add some policies here. Just to one thing I do know that a lot of people don't really pay enough attention to is that when you have a ton of a ton of policies in certain areas, you spend, like, policies are extremely expensive, and a lot of people don't know this. So yeah, you can end up spending tens of thousands of units, dollar units, whatever the currency is here, on policy. So you have to be really smart about how you formulate policy and not to overuse it. So yeah, and you have to be, pick and choose wisely what you think are good policies for your area. I think I might just dezone this front layer just because it's a pain. Keeps showing on the UI. I don't like the way it looks, and it's not accurate. There is no water, so it's almost better just to do without and provide pedestrian paths from the other side. Invisible pedestrian paths, because when it's on the beach, I would rather not have a path. I think it's cooler to just kind of do to do without. Visual path, that is. So we'll just provide ways to get around as opposed to zoning there. And I think I'm just gonna pause it real quick, and I do want to reform this end of the road because it is a bit close to the water and it's giving us UI issues. So just pulled it in a little bit. I do need to see if I'm not sure if we did in fact remove, but I think we did. Yeah. The paths are no longer there, so we'll have to redraw those. Okay. And I do kind of want to, I don't know if this is even a thing, but I would like to investigate if there are mods that simulate beach activity, like people on the beach and stuff, because obviously we have such a beautiful beach here that it would be silly for people not to use it. And also, obviously, we have, you know, a large area here. We want to support some commercial buildings here. This is obviously a tourist area, and tourists love to shop, so we'll support that as well. And I think, yeah, I definitely had a couple oversights when initially zoning this area. Probably didn't look enough into the into the commercial zoning usages. Here, that's a huge house here. It's a huge house out on the beach. And I suspect that this will actually become the most expensive area in the city because people do love their beach houses. So I do suspect that will happen. That's an interesting option. Again, I think we'll just do the go-to in these scenarios near the roundabouts, and we'll input a cul-de-sac. And again, in these areas, I'm kind of imagining some small beach type shops and things like that. Maybe some small convenience stores and small local grocery stores, things like that. I think would fit really well here. Maybe we'll do some Ploppable RICO later. We'll see. Yeah, see, this constant complaining at the water is kind of frustrating. As I said, the water isn't an issue. If it was, we would actually see the water there, but we don't. And I'm trying to think of how can we avoid this. Maybe I'm gonna try and just lift up the road a bit. Maybe that will help. Even though we would see the water, so that isn't it. Whoa. Wait, I'm really confused. We don't even have large. We don't even have high density commercial, and yet there's humongous buildings here. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking of it, it's because we have the tourism selected on this area. Okay, that's actually really cool. Because I was thinking, how do we zone for like hotels and stuff? So I guess the hotels are automatically placed in these areas, and I guess that's why we see these kind of beachy houses here as well. Kind of the tourism pack assets. So it's very interesting. Just kind of try to look at traffic, see how that's going. Definitely want to get the parking off these roads. They're not to be parked on. Should clear up traffic quite a bit. Improve traffic, I should say. I do want to check on traffic real quick just to make sure we're doing all right. 83% still high. Obviously, we have some congestion issues, which is to be expected with a city of this size, and the continuing growing. I think likely this bottom road will get upgraded, and I think that would be for the best, because it will carry a lot of traffic into this area. And now looking at it, we've actually grown quite a bit in this episode. So yeah, we're certainly gonna need better support. But this area is actually kind of shaping up to be really interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of open space here, but I think this will at some point be slightly higher. Like this will be, like I do, like I said, I want to have support for hotels and things like that. So there will be taller buildings here, larger buildings that will take up some of the footprint. And I think another option is actually dezoning and then adding parks as well, because again, this is a tourism area first and foremost, so maximizing usable land is not at all on the priority list, even slightly. So that is something I also haven't checked. I want to check the city, one look over the city vitals. We're doing okay. I think high school, we should probably place a high school just for this upper neighborhood to support the education here, the education system here. And I think this would be a perfect spot. And I think next episode we'll focus on connecting these neighborhoods up and really focusing on filling out the rest of this area. So I just want to thank you guys for coming to watch this video. I really appreciate everyone who's been giving support for the series. And it's been a really big pleasure for me to be able to play this and bring it to you guys. So I hope to continue to be able to do that. If you like the video, make sure you leave a like. And if you like multiple of my videos, make sure you subscribe to get the latest content. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. And thanks again.